Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to rumble.com/JJW. I am JJW, and Deacon is here somewhere around there. I think he's extinguishing another fire or bailing water out of his office. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out in a second. But welcome back. Welcome back. You can also find us on youtube.com/JJW8071. We meet here every Monday through Friday, 6:30 in the morning, to talk about news, politics, culture, pop culture, whatever is weird or interesting or fun. And we talk about dad stuff. So that's what we do. Welcome to the show. Hang in there if you can. You might get a chuckle or a laugh. I can't promise anything. It happens sometimes. All right. Well, so this morning I have on our slate of stuff to talk about the historic House Speaker poll. We'll talk about the results of that, and we're going to talk about Netflix maybe a little bit, and I think we also have some movie stuff. I pulled up the trailer from the list we went through yesterday. I pulled up that first creepy trailer, Megan, which initially I was like, that looks dumb. That looks very interesting. We might watch that. Oh, look who's here. It's your other dad, Deacon. Oh, I'm not in Kansas.
How do you start early?
What do you mean start early? It's 6:32.
No, it's not. Not by much.
There's is a different time in Kentucky.
Yes, it is. It's a different time.
Is it? I haven't had enough coffee o'clock.
Why are you drinking out of a plastic coffee cup?
My wife brought it to me, and I'm deeply grateful, even though I might get cancer. Hey, RC Hobby Life, what's up? Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a minute. What's going on, Deacon? How's your morning going? Covered in pixie dust, and it's just magical and dreamy.
It's always magical and dreamy and covered in pixie dust. Today was an upset stomach morning, so I didn't have a water heater explode or broken lights or screwed up computers or anything. No, I woke up this morning, and even though I took all my medicine and did everything that I'm supposed to do, my stomach is like, nope, you're going to sit here for about 30 minutes and be sick. So it's fun when you wake up in the morning and start your day like that.
Just your guts are keeping you humble, sir.
Attitude on you for the rest of the day.
I think maybe your guts follows Iron Sheik on Twitter, and it's just
I'll follow Iron Sheik on Twitter. He's hilarious. I love. If you've never seen his documentary, that guy went through a lot.
Yeah,
to do what he did. He's awesome.
It's basically as many different permutations of the F word as you can imagine, and go
every way you can use them.
In every possible way. It's like he turned one word somehow into an entire language. All right, Deacon. I know this is Brian and I were hanging out yesterday and watching this on C-SPAN. Brian is over on our Discord channel, so if you're not over there, you should come hang out because we're there all day. And yesterday, about the middle of the day, I was done. I was not getting anywhere with my coding. I was like, this isn't working. So I turned on YouTube and I hung out in Discord. Sorry, I have a lozenge. I'm unable to talk or something correctly. Anyway, Brian and I were hanging out in Discord yesterday, and we were watching C-SPAN together. For you for sure. It would have been like the most boring thing. You probably would have been like looking for a pencil.
It's boring just sitting here thinking about you two watching C-SPAN. I'm bored just listening to you.
But we were hanging out and watching C-SPAN, watching the House Speaker vote fail and fail again. It was hilarious. So
y'all not have anything else better to do? There's a Marvel card game I've been playing that's pretty fun.
I'm up to like 2,000 on that. You get so far
and you're like, I'm at like 1,100. I play like 2 games a day.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like that game as much as you do.
The thing is, I can play it for like 2 minutes or whatever, and it's like that's it. That's the quiet time that I get. My kids for sure won't let me play contest. Anyway, So we were watching this and we were talking. It was like, we have to talk about this in the news tomorrow. And I was telling Brian, I was like, I can already tell Deacon is going to be so bored or angry just having to even ponder this. But here's the news, guys. Here's the news.
Okay.
Yesterday was the first day of the 118th Congress. And it was also coincidentally the first day in probably 5 or 6 years that you have been free and unburdened by a government sitting on your neck. Because the first thing a Congress has to do is elect a House Speaker. Before they can do any of their legislative agenda, the members of the House must elect a House Speaker. And in order to do that, you must achieve a majority vote. That is 1/2 plus 1. So we have 435, I think 434 currently sitting members of Congress. So in order to get the vote, you have to acquire 218 votes on the floor of the Senate. Usually that's all of your party and maybe some independents. Well, there are 213 Democrats and there are 222 Republicans, and there's about 19 or 20 of those Republicans that are like, nah, no way. So we finished the entire first day of the 118th Congress with 3 failed votes for the House Speaker, and we have no speaker, which means we have no legislative agenda happening. This is the best of all worlds. And McCarthy, who's on the title card here, and you may recognize him from our Swamp Creatures graphic.
He wrote a lot of songs back in the day with this kind of
yeah, Paul McCartney.
Yeah,
McCarthy.
It's
McCarthy's right there underneath. Why am I not in Kansas? I didn't do that. Did you do that?
No, I did it yesterday. You're just not paying attention today.
I guess. Down there, the McCarthy swamp creature that is pointing over to the anyway. He didn't get elected as Speaker of the House. Now he probably will get elected Speaker of the House, but not before he makes a bunch of concessions. So that is the good news of the day. We don't have
it's good news, and you wonder why things need to change. Why I say people wonder why I say things need to change. We spent a whole day accomplishing nothing. And
yes.
after I read the news today out of my local news, one of the thoughts that went through my mind was, oh, this is a governor year where we're going to elect a new governor. That means shit ain't going to get done in the state this year, because the whole time they're going to be campaigning for governor, and all these other people are going to be campaigning for governor, and that's the only thing that they give a shit about. And so really we only get like a year out of like 3 or 4 years, we get like a year and a half of actual work, because all the other time is them trying to get their fucking job back. All right. And that's what I was thinking this morning. I was like, oh,
well, what do you think things are going to be like if you have term limits? You know, you're constantly going to have people only just trying to get into office, because there's not going to be anybody sitting in office. They're going to be like, you're in, you're out. And
I think, no. I think that's a better start than what we've got now, because in, you're out. I don't have to sit here and worry about Mitch McConnell, who is 80 years old and is now the longest serving or whatever that I read this morning.
Oh, yeah. You know, I'm with you on some of that. You know, I think,
hang on. I got the story right here. I just read it.
Look at this. We got pro news happening here, guys. I'm so excited.
You're not going to get the pro news because I got to talk.
Oh, he's got to talk.
It's here somewhere.
Okay.
Right here. For record, 16 years is part. No. Hang on. I got to talk. I got to actually
talk on the radio. All right. So I'm going to tell everybody about this. So first of all, it turns out that over the weekend, so let's do the little story. Okay. So McCarthy was the House Minority Leader during the 117th Congress. So he was the foil to Nancy Pelosi. Not really, but they kind of work together. But Nancy Pelosi being the Democratic Majority Leader in the 117th Congress, McCarthy being the minority leader, and rallied the Republicans during the 2022 election, kind of to take the majority in the House. So, basically, he is elected the leader of the GOP and was fully expecting to be elected as Speaker of the House. So, over the weekend, last weekend, he packed up his office and had it moved down the hall to the Speaker's suite in
Who was
the
that?
McCarthy last
Oh, yeah.
weekend had his stuff packed up and moved right down to the Speaker's suite so that as soon as the vote was done, he could just walk to his office and with his little gavel and be the Speaker of the House. Well, yesterday, 3 votes were held. Of the first vote, in all 3 votes, McCarthy got fewer votes than the Democratic nominee, Jeff Jeffries. I think it's Jim Jeffries. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The Democratic nomination is kind of a placeholder. He got less votes than the Democrat, even though the Republicans hold the majority of the House. So, as soon as the day ended, Matt Gaetz sent a letter. Matt Gaetz being a Florida Republican. Matt Gaetz sent this letter to I guess the
Belch.
I think it's the architect of the Capitol. Matt Gaetz said, he said, Mr. Blanton, I write to inform you that the Speaker of the House office located in the Capitol building currently occupied by Rep. Kevin McCarthy. As of this morning, the 117th Congress adjourned, and the Speaker from the 118th has not been elected. After 3 undeciding votes, no member can lay claim to this office. What is the basis in law, House rule, or precedent to allow someone who has placed second in 3 successive Speaker elections to occupy the Speaker of the House office? How long will he remain there before he is considered a squatter? Please write back promptly, as it seems Mr. McCarthy can no longer be considered Speaker designate following today's balloting. So, Republican Matt Gaetz, sent a letter to the House architect reporting Kevin McCarthy as a squatter of the House. Yeah, anyway, so before you were going to do your talk stuff, I was saying you were saying that it's not good that your state government can't get stuff done because everybody's electing all the time, and
Everybody,
I am holding
not just the state government.
Okay,
our whole government.
Okay,
yeah, it's like this story right here. Democrats are again claiming the Senate majority, but much of the chamber's focus is on the top Republican as Mitch McConnell becomes the longest serving Senate leader in history. McConnell, 80, surpassed Montana Senator Mike Mansfield's record of 16 years as party leader when the Senate convened midday Tuesday to begin the new Congress. While the Kentucky Republican has acknowledged he would prefer his own party to be taking charge, the majority is better, he says frequently. He's celebrating his own personal milestone with a Senate floor speech looking back at party leaders and their different styles over the decades. And then it says, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat New York, cements a legacy of his own after winning a second term as leader and also being sworn in as the longest serving senator from New York.
Wow.
80 years old. McConnell. Yeah. I have said, and you have heard me say this sentence many times, Mitch McConnell is and has been for a long time the most powerful man in the country. One of the most powerful political men in the country. Even more powerful than any president we've had in the past.
He definitely was pulling a lot of the levers over during the Trump administration.
He's been pulling a lot of levers since like the first Bush.
Yeah. So, I think that you're saying that it would be better if government was doing work for us, and I don't disagree with that. But
instead of campaigning all the time,
but my intuition is that if the government doesn't have these occasional roadblocks, then they just go on going unchecked, and we're at now almost $32 trillion in spending, and that's from the last 2 years. We went up like $10 trillion. So if the House can't,
well, I mean, we're sending all of the money to Ukraine over the last 2 years, so there's where
a lot of money.
there's where a lot of the money's going. I mean, Jesus Christ, we
That's
spent $1.2 trillion to Ukraine, and they were bitching to me, and I had to pay back $600 that they gave me.
I think
Right?
I think that 1 point something trillion was just to fund our government, but there was a good healthy portion. I think we're now up to 100 billion in investment in
Oh,
Ukraine.
you think that was what they told you it was is correct? You think
I
that
don't
was
know.
to fund just a little bit went to Ukraine, and that was to
I
fund our
just
you just you here
no
this is
no
me
no 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 no
patting
no
you
no
on the
no.
head,
The
JJ.
omnibus bill, the defense spending bill had a portion of it that was allocated to Ukraine, but
Just a
there were other.
small they that's what they said.
I
Just
mean,
a small
$100
just a
billion. I think it
small
was 47 in the last.
$100
Anyway,
billion.
it's a lot of money, and look, we both know it's just going over there and getting laundered. I don't want these crooks getting away with stuff. Okay, so I say thank you to Matt Gaetz for reporting a squatter. We need to make sure that there's no squatters in our House Speaker's office. And I just will also put this nice picture up. This is, well, I'm not going to do that. Let's move on. Deacon, you have enough. Oh, let's see. Jeremy says government doing nothing is better than government doing anything. That's pretty cynical, but it's pretty good. I kind of believe that, and I'm happy with the government to do nothing. Don't do anything. I don't need you guys to do anything.
That needs to be on a bumper sticker. That's a bumper sticker right there.
Yeah. And he also says they should vote in Trump as speaker. That's never going to happen. That is a little pipe dream thing. Nobody's going to do that. It technically is possible to elect someone to be Speaker of the House that is not sitting a member of Congress. Nobody's going to put their political life on the line to play a Trump card. Oh, that's good. I did that. All right.
Nice double entendre, JJ.
Thank you. I love it. Dad jokes. Fun time. All right. Netflix. Deacon, you've got Netflix, right? Don't you have Netflix? I don't have Netflix.
I am Netflix, dude.
I've
had Netflix since it was before streaming.
Oh, wasn't it like DVD.com or something like that?
I think I was paying $6.99, $7.99 a month.
Yeah,
it might have been cheaper than that.
It ain't that anymore, is it?
No, it ain't that anymore.
Yeah,
I've had Netflix for a long time.
So, in 2022,
I choose to watch certain things and choose not to watch other things on my Netflix.
Yeah,
there you go.
What does that mean?
Just like every other streaming service in existence.
Yeah, you just pick and choose. Of course you do. Because
I'm picking at you, JJ. I'm being an asshole to you.
Because I didn't know.
You don't even get Netflix because of one show.
Oh yeah, No, I don't have Netflix.
I know. I'm picking at you.
On New Year's Eve, my friend came over, and we watched Glass Onion, which is very, very fun, very fun movie. We watched Glass Onion, and in order to watch it, you have to watch it on Netflix. So she signed into her RTV on her Netflix account. So I did watch one Netflix show.
I
need to make sure to clear it off. Yeah. I think my TV got a virus and maybe investigated by the FBI now. All right, Netflix has had its worst year in more than a decade in 2022. Its stock price dropped 50%.
Well, stop canceling all the damn TV shows that we want to watch, dumbasses. Y'all will make one season, and you will get people hooked, and you're like, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to make a lesbian movie. No.
Yeah, maybe stop trying to appeal to like the 0.1% market demographic.
No shit.
Make like stuff that appeals to like, I don't know, 98% of people.
There's been so many Netflix shows that I will watch and I will get into, and I'm like, this is really good. And then I'll see the article come out. Here are the shows that Netflix canceling this year, and there's my damn show. I can't tell you how many times it's happened. At least like 4 or 5, to the point that I don't. If it's like, this is a Netflix original, I'm like, well, I'm not watching this son of a bitch until we've got it.
You're not fishing me again. I know you're
just
going to give me to watch the pilot.
Season Netflix original. No, I want 4 seasons and then I will think about watching your Netflix original because I don't want to get roped in again.
Yeah.
You've got me too many damn times. Fool me 4 times. Shame on me.
Same kind of thing has happened on Amazon, but I mean, sometimes the shows aren't as good. But there'll be like a show, and I'll be like, "Oh, that was good," and then and I liked it, and then I go back a year later, and I go back, "Oh, did they ever make any more?" And you go through, and it's like, "Oh, it's just one season. It's one season."
Just one
And I was
season.
like, "Well, what am I gonna get? I want to be told a story. I want to be told a story, guys."
I know, but we have shit like Days of Our Lives that's went on for 40 years, but we can't keep him.
Okay, Netflix lost $136 billion in market value by losing 50% of market. Yeah, it's a lot of money. The biggest biggest stock plummet on an annual basis since 2011, and the company lost customers for 2 consecutive quarters, which is the first time for Netflix as it's entered a phase of cost-cutting efforts and that included a bunch of layoffs. So, Netflix's decline even surpassed that of NASDAQ. So they outperformed NASDAQ in failure. It's unclear if the streaming giant understands what the reason is behind the decline. David, how do you say NG? David Ng?
I don't know how to say that last name. No, I don't think it's that way. I don't think that's how you say it. No, I have heard it said before because I've known some people with that. I think it's a Vietnamese last name, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I know that whenever it has a bunch of other letters after it, it's like pronounced
I'm not going to try. I've seen it before.
Nguyen. Yeah. But here,
and I've known someone with that last name too. I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
All right.
Here, I'll see.
So, David of Breitbart says that they've hitched their wagon to the Obamas, who aren't as popular as they used to be, and they're trying some new options that they don't seem to work. Netflix broke its promise to never have commercials by launching an ad-supported tier in a bid to tap into the advertising market in the face of uncertain subscriber growth. Do you have the ad? Mr. David Ng, I apologize for mispronouncing your 2 consonants of your last name.
Ng.
Okay.
Ng.
Okay. So Netflix launched a commercial plan. Do you have the commercial plan, or you have the one where you pay for no commercials?
They have one that has commercials?
Yes. They have a commercial tier. Like you pay for it and you get commercials.
Okay. I've had the same one since I began.
Forever, right?
Until they told me several years ago. It was after I had split with my ex and was out and got together. And I wasn't able to log on to Netflix. It was like too many screens are using, and I'm like, crap. And too many people were using. So I signed up for the 4 screens package, which was
right. So you could play it on multiple devices at the same time.
I can have Netflix, my account, playing on 4 screens at the same time. And it was like, at the time, it was like $10.99, $11, $12.99.
Yeah.
I think that shit's like $20 now or more. So I don't know. I don't have commercials on Netflix, but I don't. I just pay it. It could be $45. I don't know.
In an effort to get more subscribers at a lower cost, they introduced this commercial plan, but only 9% of new signups are
on it.
Picked that plan in the first month. It was so unsuccessful that Netflix had to give money back to their advertisers because they could not meet their viewership targets for their commercials on the commercial plan.
1 month, I mean, these people need to slow the shit down a little bit. I mean, am I wrong thinking that you're trying to pay off your business in 1 month is a bad business model? I mean, you don't look at things like that. You look at something like this thinking, okay, how is this cheaper commercial Netflix going to pay off in 2 years? How is it going to pay off at the end of the year? What's it going to pay off in the next 5 years? You don't look at it in a month. Of course, it's not going to do anything in a month.
Well, I think they had a kind of projected, like, we need to acquire this many new customers every month, and we have to show commercials to this many people, and they couldn't even show it to that many people.
Oh, that's a good point, that
That's
they
what
have to show
yeah.
it to this
If
many
you
people
if
and they yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Well,
so
that's
if
what they
you're
get
coming in and you're like, "I wanna sell my Band-Aids on your
that's what they get for opening
thing."
their fucking mouth, being
Yeah,
an overzealous salesman. That's an
yeah,
overzealous salesman is all that is. "Hey,
yeah.
JJ, for JJ's Auto Repair Shop, I
Mhm.
guarantee you that at
Yeah,
least 10 million people are gonna be seeing JJ's Auto Repair
right.
commercial on Netflix."
Oh, I got
You
the
know,
report in. It says 143 people saw the
yeah,
commercial. What's
yeah,
up?
exactly.
Give
That
me
was
my
an
money back.
overzealous salesman is all it was.
Yeah. All right. But here's the real problem. Most streaming services are losing money and not growing at desired rates. Wall Street knows this, which is why media stock prices are going down, 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 down. But the problem is not just changing times or Biden recession or the drop in ad revenue. The problem is content. Movies and TV today sucks. If you've looked through the Netflix menu, I went through a bunch of stuff on Amazon yesterday, and I was like, I don't care. This is garbage, 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 garbage. How much stuff do you have to scroll past in Netflix to find something that you actually want to see?
Me?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. At this point, I don't know why I have Netflix. All
right.
Netflix is my list of shit that I'm never going to watch that's nostalgic that I'm like, "Oh, I don't like
Yeah,
that. Oh, that
I
looks
remember
interesting."
that. I'm
But
gonna
you know
put that
what
on
I
my
watch?
list, and I'll.
You
I'm
know
not
what I
gonna
watch
watch it.
over and over again?
Huh?
I finished Wednesday, but I watch Community
Yeah,
and fucking,
Office Space,
Seinfeld. Seinfeld
Seinfeld.
because The Office left and went over to the Peacock, and
Oh,
Parks and Rec left and went over to Peacock, and Community left Prime, or I would be watching Community on Prime because the
right,
Netflix version of Community is the chopped up, edited version of Community
right.
that has all the shit edited out. So
Yeah,
you're not
it
getting
doesn't want to be
everything from
offensive.
the TV show that was originally in the TV show that makes it funny.
Yeah.
So it's at this point, Community and Seinfeld are just noise in the background,
Right.
background noise. And I have to have background noise. My profession for 30 years has been radio. So
Yeah.
when I have silence, that's actually a nightmare. Is
Yeah.
silence
It's like,
at
oh
radio.
no, I'm
Yes, when
supposed to
I
be on
have
the air.
silence, something is wrong with the radio station. So
Yes.
I always have to have some sort of noise in the background. If you listen, you can hear
Yeah,
the
yeah. I can hear.
radio
I
in the
can hear.
background back there
Yeah.
that I've got in the other room.
So, you know, when we were growing up, and probably maybe the last 20, especially when you were, because you're about the same age I am. So when you were like 20,
46,
20 to
45,
25 to 30, at that time in our lives, it was
45.
TV, cable TV, and you bought cable or you bought dish, and then you had a bunch of channels with a bunch of commercials and only a few shows. And the problem was you had to figure out when you could watch what you wanted to
We had
watch. And
3,
at the
6, and
time, we were
12.
like,
We
yeah,
had 3, 6, and
it,
12, and then I remember when, like, Channel 8, the Fox channel came on, and then we
yeah,
were able to get, the superstation, TBS, out of Chicago,
yeah,
because you could watch the Bozo show. You could watch Bozo in the mornings and stuff on that, and the grand prize game and stuff. Yeah, you were exactly right. You had to plan around when you wanted to
yeah,
watch. After school, I would come home and get a bowl of cereal. I could watch Scooby-Doo. I could watch, Dukes of Hazzard, I know always came on. You know, there were certain shows that I could
right.
always watch at a
And
certain
and
time.
when you started paying for cable or dish or whatever, you were outlaying cash, but you were getting hundreds of channels, but you only watched a couple of them,
A
right? You
bunch
only
of
watched
crap.
like
It was crap
there's like
because
there
you
was probably
complained.
like five channels on the service that you were like, I like stuff on this one, on this one, this one, and you'd maybe remember what those are. You wouldn't go through all of them. You'd go through, and so it was the dream at the time. What if I didn't have to have all of that? I could just have the channels that I want. We live in that reality. You can pay for the services you want, except
It's
it's
not.
expensive and it's
It's turned
flooded
back.
with crap.
Yeah, it's turned back into exactly what it was. It's not à la carte like like we always
Oh,
knew. It's turned back
hey,
into
look here.
exactly what it was. And we talked about something with Alec. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, we got a visitor. Look at this. Pleasure Dome. Miss you guys on the UMCOC podcast.
We don't.
Hey. Oh,
Do you know how much of a pain in the butt that podcast was to me? I loved you
I know.
guys, but the
I know.
podcast was a pain in my ass to do every week, man. It was
It
not
was
fun for me.
fun. It was fun for a while, and then
It was fun for a
it got
while.
unfun.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you guys had
Yeah.
no clue
Oh my
about that
god.
made it unfun. It made it really unfun. What were we talking about? Oh, me and
Oh,
Alex were talking the other day, and sorry, I've been trying to fight off some sickness. Alex and I were talking the other day about this, about the streaming services and whatnot, and he said something like, it was something that we were watching that was like, we got to wait till next week for this. And it was Alex or Kendra, one of them. They were like, I like this. I like waiting until the next week and whatnot. And we were having to explain, and you will cope with this because of the era that we grew up in. We had to. What are you doing? You're not listening.
oh,
You're
I'm telling
typing.
Pleasure Dome. Thanks for
Oh, okay.
watching. I am
So
listening.
I know. Okay. So because of the era that we grew up in, we had to wait for TV shows. Okay.
Yeah.
You would watch, they'd leave you on a cliffhanger. You have to wait a week. Watch,
Oh
leave you
my
on a
gosh.
cliffhanger, wait a week. Well, okay. So Alex has never grown up that way. They've grown
Right.
up with the, and so we used to be that way. Now that we're adults, we learned how to stream things, and we could watch 4 or 5 TV shows and watch our story and not have to wait for our story to be fed to us. We could get it all at once, and
Right.
we got catered to that. Our generation, me, you, Ashley,
Yeah.
we all got catered to this. Alex didn't. He grew up with the ability to watch everything all at once.
Binging.
And binge watching, yeah. So now he's being forced, because we've come full circle, to have to wait for a TV show to the next week, or wait on Paramount
Yeah.
Plus for Ghosts to come on and have to watch. So he's like, I kind of like this. And me and Ashley were like, we don't. We grew up this way. We got to binge watch. We saw how freaking awesome it was. We're not going back. I don't
No.
want to go back to this shit.
Uh,
I watched Lost every freaking Thursday.
oh my god, dude.
I'm not going back to that.
I was
want
thinking of
binge.
Lost while you were telling that. I was like, I
hate-
remember in 2005, we was like watching Lost, and then like, don't know what's gonna happen, but next week they're finally gonna make this show make sense.
Every freaking time that show went
Yes.
off the air, you were like, I
And-
hate this show.
and it
I
never
love
made
this
sense.
show. I can't wait. And that's what I was telling Ashley. She said something about Lost the other day, and I said, I will never watch that show ever. That show was one time at the end, you were like, they were fucking dead. What about the polar bear and the hatch? Four-toed statue. What about all this? You son of a bitch. I would punch J.J. Abrams in the face if I could see him for my wasted time.
You know what was, for me, what was even better in that era, even better than Lost? Battlestar Galactica.
Oh my god, the new one.
Battlestar Galactica.
Oh my god, that shit.
Every
I was like,
every Friday night, the
I'm like,
drums would start on the show,
are
on
they
the
just
title,
making
and I'd be
this
like,
shit up
oh
as they go?
yes,
They're just making this shit up every week.
yes. And then they get to the end, and it's like, what the fuck? It's that we lived in better times. Yes, the shows came out slow, but they were better shows. They came out slow, and they did disappoint you in the end, but they disappointed you after a lot of time of satisfaction. You got a great episode, and then you're like frustrated to have to wait a week, and then you get back to another great episode, and it would be a good episode. It would be big stretches in between. Good episode, and then yes, eventually, yeah, your denouement was disappointing. But anyway, so Netflix. So Netflix has got a $5 billion $5 billion pile of garbage. What do you guys think? Do you like it now that you have Peacock and Disney Plus and Discovery Plus and whatever plus? Do you like that you can a la carte your media to suit your thing? I mean, if you got dispensable cash, you can just buy all the services, right? And you can watch all the shows. Do you like it better now, or was it better then when you had a bunch of different channels? And I'm asking our listeners, Deacon, is it better now that you have the a la carte services that you can go and buy Netflix and have all the Netflix, You can go buy Disney Plus and have all the Disney Plus stuff. You can do Discovery Plus or whatever they are. I
Right.
don't even know how
Right.
many there
All
are,
of
but
them.
there's
That's
so
right.
many.
Right.
There are so many.
Okay.
Is it better now or was it better then? When you had to pay for a cable bill or whatever, but you had and you had to wait at least a week at a time between content.
It's better now.
But it's
And
better now.
I'm saying that as a radio person, a 30-year radio person that relies on advertising revenue to feed my children. It's better now.
So Pleasure Dome says having all the services is just cable with more steps.
You don't have the interrupted commercials, okay? And you don't have the plethora of channels that are nothing but commercial channels. You know, they have
Right.
30-minute infomercials is all. I mean,
yeah.
and you would have those channels would take up. You would have 2 or 3 channels that would play, and then you would have channels like that was just crap. So yeah, the cable company was selling you package number A has 85 channels that you're only paying $4.99 for. Out of 85 channels, 1 or 2 of them have crap on there that you're going to watch. But with the streaming services, I have more than 2 things that I want to watch. My list, that's a running joke in my family with Ashley is I have everything in my lists. So my Prime, my Disney, my Netflix, and all that has got all kinds of crap in it that I'm never going to watch. And Ashley's like, "Don't put that. You're never going to watch." I'm like, "I don't like that." And she's like,
I was adding stuff to the list like last night. I was like, "Oh, that looks good. I'll watch that." I'm not gonna watch that.
We were on Prime one day, and I was sitting there going through the movies, the B movies, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And she goes, "Why are you putting Velocipaster on your list?" I'm like,
I have that in my list.
Velocipaster. You know, and so I'm that. So I think streaming services are better in cable for that aspect. And this is coming from me, who I rely on advertising revenue.
Yeah.
And and advertising and television shows back then were 3-minute long breaks. And humans, Americans especially, don't have 3-minute long attention spans anymore.
No.
Because if you are the last spot in that 3-minute long set, if they're 30 minutes long and there's 6 of them and your number's 5 or 6, the person is not going to be paying attention to a crapping thing that's going on in that spot.
They're already out, right?
We're already out. So I'm trying. I proposed this a couple of years ago, and I finally got them to kind of catch on because I started doing it here without their permission, and they just continued. I try to keep my commercials breaks down to 90 seconds, 3 30-second spots, or a 60 and a 30, 90 seconds to 2 minutes maximum. And 2 minutes used to be the minimum when I started. I would have 4-minute commercial breaks on radio 3 times an hour. People aren't going to sit through 4 minutes anymore. And so with television, I think it's the same thing. We've talked about that with the kids because the kids haven't grown up with how we do. They've grown up in this era, and they all will set through the commercials and actually watch them when there's a freaking timer in the corner. When there is a timer that says it's 45 seconds until the show comes back on, I've watched them and we've had this conversation. They will sit and watch the commercial. And
really?
This is my business. I'm in the business to sell your business. So over the past 30 years, I've tried to pick up on attention spans, what people do in cars, how Ashley will listen to commercials, how Ashley will change, what will keep her attention, how to JJ, pay attention, how to get your attention. I've learned all this kind of stuff over the years, that was very interesting to me. That when there was a timer in the corner, my kids didn't care. My kids would sit there, they would watch, and they would even comment about the commercial. They would sing along to the jingle or something.
Because they know it's coming to an end.
Because they know it's coming to an end until being like, when is this freaking over? Oh, here's a promo for something coming up on this channel. So the show's fixing to come back on, probably. That's how you could tell if your show was fixing to come back on. They'd be like, coming up next on NBC. Oh, that's a promo for their channel. It's coming back on.
Well, I do like that. I do like that timer thing. Now, usually what happens, because this is me and my wife a lot of times watching the show. So when I see that on the screen, because I see that on, I like Pluto. Pluto is a streaming service, but they have commercials and you can watch
Roku
some
does it.
things on there. And so when I see that thing, I'm like, oh, that's great. And if it's a like super boring commercial, I'll just mute the TV and then I just talk to my wife and for like a minute or two, and
Right.
then go
We can
back.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We do
So
that because some of
so
the commercials
um
on Roku are like 15 times louder than the
so Pleasure Dome, yeah, the audio compression sucks, by the way. Yeah, I know you know
yeah.
about that. Audio compression with it.
Well, there
Pleasure
was
Dome
a
has a question.
law. They did that on purpose in the 90s. They did that on purpose. There was actually a law that was passed in the 90s in California. There's a California law that
Yeah,
basically says that for the audio volume of ads to the program because they were doing it on purpose on
yeah,
TV and radio.
yeah. They were making it loud because you
Yeah,
probably got up to go pee or something. I mean, we're gonna make sure you hear this.
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I had two thoughts,
I'm sorry,
but one of
dude.
them, yeah, one of them is Pleasure Domes. So here's Pleasure Domes question: do you guys think that streaming binge watching format causes shows to be canceled more often due to lack of
Mhm.
money?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think it's a contributing factor because advertisers, the pool of advertising, the marketing advertisers only really has so many dollars. Not dollars is a lot of dollars, but it used to go to NBC and CBS, and then you would have commercials that were like, little play productions. We used to have really entertaining commercials, Deacon, like really entertaining commercials. Now they're all annoying, especially if they're trying to sell you some medication. And
Years
so,
ago, I don't remember who it was. It might have been Geico. I thought there was one before Geico, but
oh,
Geico started really doing
the Mayhem commercials were
no,
always
they
really
were
funny.
just kind of annoying. I don't remember what it was, but they were annoying and gosh, it wasn't the lizard, but they were annoying is what they were,
Mhm.
but they played them all the time, and then they started doing they got to the point to where they weren't as annoying as they were annoying entertaining, and that's
Right.
what they were trying to get out of it, and so that became so successful that other companies started emulating that, and so now evolve that annoying entertainment model 20 years, and this is where we are with certain
Right.
advertisements and stuff, and the humor of this generation is different than ours as well. Kendra and I were watching this thing last night.
Chad is sending in their favorite commercials.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Kendra and I were just watching this video last night, and it was a piece of bread that's sitting there and just falls over,
Yeah.
and she laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed at that. I'm like, what is so funny about that?
Yeah. All right. I think it. I mean, I think the money thing is probably to your pleasure dome as a funny name to address you as. I definitely think the money thing is contributing factor. So, I mean, I think that you add that ingredient plus, content creators in Hollywood have got a like agenda they're trying to like cram down your throat, and I guess people have forgot how to tell a story. Or they want to like attack the what is it, the hero's journey arc, like, oh, like somehow that's offensive, so they want to do anything but that. But that's the thing that humans are gravitate towards, like a young person facing impossible odds, challenged with a task that's unbelievable, and then overcomes the challenge. That's the story we all want to hear all the time. That's the story we want. And they're like, that's offensive in every single way. And so like they want to avoid that, uh oh, what? Okay, so Mr. East kicking in some, so and an ingredient of shows getting canceled is watch hours and social network activity. Yeah, like if a show doesn't get enough tweets or hashtags, or and then there's all the metrics. So all these streaming services, they have their own watch hour metrics, but they don't have to release the data publicly. So you only know a show is as popular as they say it is. And guess what? They lie to you. Like, I remember when Wheel of Time came out, Wheel of Time on Amazon, the travesty that is Wheel of Time. It was blasted across my Alexa TV thing, and it was like #1 streaming show. Nobody watched that trash. It was awful. It was terrible.
They don't
And
lie. You're
they
saying they
lie.
lie, JJ?
They lie to you.
That's
Yeah.
like next you're gonna tell me that the police lie.
Do they do? I mean, some of them do.
They all do.
So Mr. E said 1899 is canceled, which isn't that like related to the Yellowstone TV show? 1899 is not.
This is a Netflix series where I'm glad I had it on my list and
That
I
was on your
started to
list?
watch it and I stopped it and I'm glad I stopped it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I stopped it. Yeah, it was about time travel. That's all.
Oh, is that the one by the producers of Dark or whatever? I watched the trailer for that. Yeah, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
what else have I got here? Oh, okay. So we're kind of okay. So we originally, remember, we were talking about Netflix. Netflix dollars are dropping. One of the big shows on Netflix, though, Wednesday is very popular. And another hit for them was Sandman, according to them. I don't know if it actually is or not. Sandman. I have never been into Sandman. Did you ever read Sandman?
I never read it. I heard a lot about it. I like Neil Gaiman's stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
after this came out, I was like, I might give this a try. You know, I've heard a lot about it, but after it came out, I saw like this is not something that I don't think I would like.
Yeah, I'm not into the
I'm not gonna comment.
Emo whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So for a particular part of your life, Sandman might be appealing. And
right. In my early 20s, it might have been.
Yeah, if you're a teenager, maybe.
Yeah.
However, it got licensed and produced and turned into a Netflix series, and apparently it's a very popular series on Netflix. And here's the thing: Netflix is not Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers owns DC, so Netflix has to borrow Sandman from DC in order to make the Sandman show. Warner Brothers and DC have their own streaming service. It's called HBO Max. So Zaslav, who took over Warner Brothers, and remember, I don't know, it was a few months back we were talking about, Zaslav come in and heads are rolling and he's firing people and cutting costs and canceling movies. Entire movies are getting canceled because they're just ain't gonna make money, so cancel it, write them off. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav not pleased with Netflix's payment structures following the Sandman renewal. So Netflix, who has to borrow intellectual property from Warner Brothers in order to make content that people will want to watch on their show, they're not paying enough to Warner Brothers, at least to Warner Brothers' opinion. So the Sandman could end up getting pulled and placed on HBO, or maybe Netflix has to spend some more cash. This is the problem that Netflix has. Netflix doesn't have a catalog of intellectual property that people are going to grab onto. So Sandman was renewed for a second season, is arguably one of the biggest shows shared by Warner Brothers and Netflix, according to Bounding into Comics here.
Really?
Yeah. Under Netflix's revised terms, Deadline says they are essentially paying producers over the course of 18 to 24 months. That's not good enough in the eyes of Zaslav, reportedly expressed his displeasure to a number of his key Warner Brothers Discovery colleagues over the last few weeks, with some business consequences. So, for instance, we hear that he instructed his teams to pause selling finished shows to Netflix for a few weeks. So now that's not the only one, though. The show Wednesday is obviously an Adams family character. Wednesday is a huge show on Netflix. Wednesday is owned by MGM Studios. So Netflix has to borrow the MGM Studios character of Wednesday to produce that show. So this is a big problem that Netflix has. Anyway, Mr. E would like to see it move to HBO. Well, I don't care about Sandman. Mr. E, you like Sandman? Pleasure Dome says Sandman was awful. I assume he means the TV show.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm not watching either. So we're Pleasure Dome says, so we're woke Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time, which is an incredible book series ruined. Thank you, sir. Wheel of Time is an incredible series of books, and that show is a blight. It's a blight. All right. All right, Deacon. You want to watch a trailer for a scary girl show?
Not really, but I'm gonna watch it anyway, aren't I?
Okay. He's so game for this stuff. Every morning Deacon gets surprised. And the surprise is generally the same. Okay, JJ, what are you going to show me? Oh, come on, man. Every morning, tune in at 6:30 in the morning to be disappointed.
Oh, I've seen this.
Oh, you saw this trailer?
Yeah.
So I think you or somebody said this thing was like a girl Chucky thing.
Yeah, I did yesterday.
Based on that, I started watching. I watched half the trailer of this, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Now I notice it's directed by James Wan. I believe it's James Wan. He's in here somewhere. James Wan, I think, is the director of Tokyo Drift. Jeremy can correct me if I'm mistaken on that. Here is Megan. Ladies and gentlemen,
to protect Katie from feeling lonely.
Freaks me out.
She will recognize you as her primary user. And when you do that, you're going to pair with her.
Crazy. It's insane, right?
Oh, don't I look nice? Biting my eyes. Isn't it pure perfection?
Megan, your goal is to protect Katie from harm, both physical and emotional.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare some war. I won't let anything harm you. I love her.
Megan's not a person, Katie.
You don't get to say that.
Things that you can play with me. You better watch your back. The last thing that you hear will be my love.
Megan, what are you doing?
I mean, I can see they've already violated like the rules of the Asimov. Asimov had rules for this stuff to keep this from happening, right? The rules are like can't hurt people. Rule number 1, can't hurt people. Her she just gave the robot rule number 1. Don't let my daughter's feelings get hurt. This is only going to go bad.
Sleep. Occupational hazard.
Got your full attention.
Don't! Stop!
What the hell is that?
You should probably run.
I don't know how to
Wait,
I won't let anything harm
Is that an
you.
animatronic robot face?
Megan,
Have I done something to upset you, Gemma?
I know you think you're maximizing your objective function.
Oh, really?
sugar and spice and everything nice. No, that's not what we're made of.
Okay, so this is kind of funky. I think it moves weird here.
Don't provoke, 'cause oh, we will go.
You'd have to shut her down.
Jesus Christ, I thought we were friends.
Might be pretty, but we're still.
I have a new primary user now. Me. Did Megan do something bad?
I think this is funny. I would watch this on
What's going on?
Prime or something.
What are you?
I'm Megan.
Baby, don't provoke, 'cause oh, we will.
A power washer is not going to hurt somebody that much. Not at 10 feet. Okay. Are you excited about that? Is that going on your list?
JJ, in the late 80s, a movie came out called Chucky about a little doll. And that little doll tortured and scared a little boy in that movie, and his name was Andy.
Oh no, traumatized.
My name is not Deacon. That's my son's name. My name is Andy. And that's what I was called. And that movie scared the shit out of me as I was a child. And we know that at Halloween, Child's Play was my #1 scariest movie of all time, because that, to me personally, That movie scarred me as a child. I had
Oh my God.
nightmares. I had nightmares about this doll, Andy, and I would wake up and it scared me as a child. So now as a 45-year-old man, I don't like dolls. I don't like them. They creep me out. They give me the EBGBs. I don't like them. I'm not scared of them. I don't like them. And this
Dislike.
movie, I wouldn't watch this movie if you paid me to watch it. I wouldn't watch it. I don't want to watch this movie. It is not entertaining in the least to me. It gives me the creeps. Her face gives me the creeps. I could not watch that. I can see the little picture and whatnot, but when I watched a little bit of that trailer the other day when it came up, and I saw her kind of moving down like crazy.
Yeah.
And I could see her little, because I tried to watch it, but her facial expressions, that is the uncanny valley for me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the uncanny valley for me because I am too creeped out by that I can't. I'm not going to watch this movie. I don't like dolls like that. It's ugh.
So her face is not only plastic looking, the eyes are like extra large because like a doll's eyes are like super large or whatever. So uncanny valley. That's the word while you were talking, that was the word I was trying to think of, and you actually said it. Do other things kind of trigger the uncanny valley for
Not
you?
so much. Well, yeah. I mean, there's certain artificial intelligence and robots that will trigger that for me. But that
JJ triggered Deacon live. This is the show. So yeah, stuff that is like approximates humans that it just isn't quite close enough.
One thing that always blew my mind though was, the uncanny valley is this fear, this innate fear in us of when we know it's a robot.
Yeah.
We know it's artificial, but it looks too real. It's that.
But it's not totally convincing.
It's not totally convincing. It's that valley in between
right.
that causes that fear. So I read this one time.
Okay.
At what point in our existence as humans did we have to develop, our brains have to develop that fear? What caused us to develop a fear of something that we knew was so artificial, but was real at the same time? What at what point? I know that is a very interesting question.
What is that a modern change in humanity? Did that just happen in the 20th century?
Is it a brand new fear, or is it something that has been ingrained in our DNA and is something that we have had for?
I mean,
existence?
like you have built into you. Like, yes, humans will fight and kill and murder each other and go to war and stuff, but humans are humans. And a human is also a human. Or bears, wolves, dogs, animals, whatever. Those are monsters. If they threaten you, you kill those things. But humans you may be able to talk with. You may be able to like negotiate with. At the fundamental base level, there's something there. There's some person there that you can commune with.
Yeah.
And you cannot commune with a bear. You cannot commune with a cheetah, an elephant. No.
As much.
So is the line between human and all of the animal creatures and the fact that the uncanny valley places those things on the other side of the line of human? Is that it? You think it's something else?
I think it's something else.
I'm not saying you think they're animals. I'm saying you think that they're not human, because I think that's the thing is it's humans and everything else. And if it's everything else, then it's a danger.
No, I don't think that's it. I think it's bears beats Battlestar Galactica. No,
that's today's show.
It is.
That's a better title than I had, Mr. E. The thing is, when I title the show, I never have any idea where it's going to go until it's over. That's a better title. It's the fear of evolutionary replacement, he says. Replacement.
Fear of evolutionary replacement.
That would have to be a fear that's deep down and ungrained to that, because I wouldn't even really think of like I'm gonna get replaced. I know I'm gonna get replaced. They're in there. they're right in there. I'm gonna die and they're gonna be here. I know I'm getting replaced.
There is a song from the 90s from the group Porno for Pyros. Do you remember that group?
Oh,
Porno for Pyros?
yes.
It was
Yeah.
the lead singer was Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction
Yes.
that I got
I
to
love
see not
Jane's
too long ago. I got to see Jane's Addiction.
That's great.
And Dave Navarro was not there, so that's not so great. But Porno for Pyros had this song called Pets, and that was the big song that was on in the early 90s. We'll make great pets. We'll make great pets. We'll make great pets. And that song was about when aliens land on Earth, us humans will make great pets. You know, we will.
You know, I think that aliens are a good example of proving your point and not mine, which is, you know, I'm saying it's humans and everything else, right? But when you think about aliens are like a walking. They don't look anything like human, but you don't get a fear of aliens. You mostly just think they're like weird or whatever. But these robots that approximate, or these mannequins that approximate humanity but are not human, they trigger something very different.
Right. What if it was? I'm just saying. I mean, if I were to write a complete fiction story, you know, I would have some humanoid figures that were very early in their evolution, and some alien people come down onto this evolving planet and leave some sort of advanced technology, android looking robot that controlled these humans and maybe was very savage to these humans over the years because they didn't have to sleep or eat or do anything, and they could, you know, be revitalized through sunlight because we have solar power. And so maybe these things were so cruel to these humans over centuries and whatnot that these humans, I'm making this shit up off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Maybe these humans developed this ingrained sense to fear these things that they knew that they couldn't kill, and they didn't eat, and they never slept, and they were, you know, these godlike beings that always, you know, were there. And maybe, you know, 10,000 years later, humans have this innate fear that when our technology has gotten to this level, we're like, I don't like that for some, you know, I'm just fiction story there.
They could have been powered by the pyramids. These robots, they could be powered by the pyramids. Yeah, I was watching Y-Files, and anyway, we'll talk about the pyramid. The
Y-Files
could have been like a battery.
Don't you like him?
Y-Files, it's fun. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Uncanny Valley. We should explore that more. Maybe another time.
The Uncanny Valley was one of those things when I first heard of it years ago. I was like, what is that? That's dumb. And so I just dismissed it. And then I came across it again, and I'm like, what is that? And I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, what is this? This is awesome. And I've just been infatuated with it ever since.
The first time I remember ever kind of like experiencing it was like way back in the early 2000s. There was a movie. I think it was a Final Fantasy movie. Do you remember the Final Fantasy movie? It's terrible. And they tried to make these characters kind of look human, but they're Japanese-ish, but they're human. That there was 3D. It was like computer CGI or whatever. And it was just, oh, look at you. You're all lit up and stuff. You're glowing like an angel. I remember thinking, like, I just don't like the way that these things try to look human, but they don't look human.
Yeah.
I think some of it is in the eyes.
What was it called? Advent Children? Final Fantasy Advent Children? Was that the name
of it?
Maybe.
Yeah. I just remember, I think it was just one scene even that I saw. I was just like,
Final Fantasy 7
like
Advent Children.
Yeah, something like that.
I think is what it was called.
Okay. All right, guys. Oh, Fear's the Mind Killer. Hey, got a little treaties going on there.
Yeah, Mr. E, that was a terrible movie. Yeah, my lighting setup, that light is the one that was in 3 pieces when I came in yesterday morning. This is my big light. So it's duct taped here.
Yeah.
And down at the bottom in 2 more places. So I actually have it. I engineered it with I went and looked, and I found a picture kit that we had in a drawer to put some pictures together. That had some screw hooks and a wire. So I cut the wire, and I took the screw hooks, and I just I secured it, so it's
It
not going
works.
to fall anymore. And so all I got to do now is just turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah.
It works. And Sherry
Here
was
you
like, "You want to buy a new light?" I was like, "I don't need to spend $30 on a new light. Dude, save your money. I can engineer this.
The light still works.
Yeah, the light
Just
still
hanging.
works. I'm not trying to impress anybody.
If it breaks much more, you can just hang it from the ceiling.
Yeah,
or get a broom handle.
We'll redneck engineer that sucker, man.
Yes. All right.
That type of fix anything.
All right, guys. It is the end of the show. I am so glad you were here. Thanks for watching. There was a bunch of 6 people watching. Definitely people. This has been a good time, especially the chat. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you haven't already, hit the like button or subscribe. And especially thanks to Pleasure Dome for showing up. We haven't seen you here before. We appreciate you. That is all this morning. We will be back tomorrow. I'm sure that tomorrow's show is going to be even better than today. And there's no way that Deacon is going to be disappointed tomorrow.
You were trying to hide something back there. Oh, I guess I could hide something back there. Do Good said he thought I was trying to hide something back there with the light.
Oh, yeah.
My child.
Angelic Deacon.
I can't, it completely blocks out my face. That's behind me.
All right. Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. Love you.